Hello everyone, this is Divanshu and I am the Android Study Jam facilitator for dsckiit. As you guys already know about Android Study Jam, it is a series of videos and doubt solving sessions that are conducted all across India by the DSCs. Okay, so in these sessions, we at dsckiit has planned to make a series of videos which will be released after every gap of every 2 days, and this series of video will be covering most of the concepts that are required for a good knowledge in Android development, and it will give you a good pathway to follow and have a good career in Android. Okay, so I will try to cover all the things that you required. Besides that, let me start the course formally. So I am Divanshu, I am a project manager at Kotlin. Besides that, I lead a team at DSC, and you can find me on LinkedIn and on Insta. Besides that, if you like music, you can just follow my Spotify link and go to my playlist. I really like music. So let's start the course. So first of all, let me give you a brief regarding Kotlin. So Kotlin is the language which is basically confirmed by Google as the official language for development. If you guys are using Java, please move to Kotlin, because Kotlin has many features that Java can't provide it. For instance, Java has the most notorious thing, that is the null pointer exceptions. If you have previously made Android app, you can understand regarding the null pointer exceptions. Okay, so this problem is skillfully tackled and handled by Kotlin. So if you want to shift from Java, you should be doing Kotlin, because Kotlin is the future. Okay, so Kotlin has many features which has been developed over a good span of time. Like Kotlin was first introduced in the year 2011, and it was officially announced as the development language for Android in the year 2017. So in the past 3 years, Google has really pushed Kotlin as the official language, and the libraries are nowadays the libraries are more prone for Kotlin users, and it is giving more features, you can say, in the long run. But yeah, you can use Java, but yeah, Kotlin is a good thing that you should know. First of all, you require JDK for using a Kotlin environment. Okay, so if you guys haven't installed JDK, just go to the link in the description. You will find a link to GitHub repo, and there will be a setup file which will be guiding you guys to install JDK and Intellij and Android Studio. Okay, I want you guys to install 3 of them. Okay, I will brief you about that when required. But for instance, just go to JDK, install JDK, Intellij and Android Studio. In case you want to continue with this course, you have also an online platform that you can use. That is, go to this Kotlin Playground. Okay, so go to Kotlin Playground. It will open up a site. This is an online you can say online simulator or emulator, which is developed by JetBrains to run the Kotlin code. Yeah, it is works perfectly fine, but the thing is, it has limitations, because when you try to create files, it is not possible up here, and it becomes a bit tedious to work up here. So yeah, you can always work on this platform for you want to try something new. You can always come up here and try it. Besides that, there are examples. This is the best thing about Kotlin documentation. You can just read this documentation and get all the things that you require for Kotlin. This is the hello world program, to functions, to variables, classes, generics, inheritance, and everything. You have control flow, that is the when loop, ranges, and everything. So if you guys want to follow some documentation, follow this one. It's the perfect one. And in case you have a prior knowledge in Kotlin, I want you guys to try this thing. This is what you can say a testing. If you want to try Kotlin, you have used Kotlin for a good amount of time and you have forgotten a bit, you can try this one as a mind refresher, you can say. So this one is the answer I have already written. It's okay. So just press next, and the next question will be coming up, and you can try it. The question description is given here. The topic is also described up here. The answer is also given up here if you want to check out. It's a thing you can try if you have a good experience. Not a good experience, but if you want to try your knowledge out, you can just go to this site, play.kotlin.org, and you can try these things. So okay, if you guys have installed JDK, just first go to command prompt check for JDK, in that case Java version. Okay, so we have JDK 12.0.2 installed. Okay, let's see one more thing. Version, yeah, we have installed JDK successfully. Okay, now let's open up the Intellij. Okay, so why am I choosing Intellij over Android? Because Android Studio may be a bit overwhelming for someone who is trying to open for the first time. Okay, we'll be doing it in the next video, which will be up on 16th. Okay, for now I want you guys to open Intellij, because Intellij will give you a bit of freedom from the a good amount of code that will come with Android Studio. Like if you install Android Studio and make a project, it will have good amount of code, like the XML files and different build configurations, everything. So it will be overwhelming. So I want you guys to install Intellij for the 2 days span. I want you guys to try the things on Intellij. Okay, Intellij is a good IDE, and it is not just for Android development. It's not just for Kotlin. You can use it for many other purposes, even Android development. Yeah, I am opening Intellij. Besides that, yeah, it can be used for Android development, but people actually prefer Android Studio because it is optimized for Android development. There is many other, you can use Java, you can do many things when Intellij. So when it first open up, this screen will be opened up. Click on new project. It will open up this screen. Select Kotlin. Yeah, you can see that Android is also an option and Java is also an option. For now we will go with Kotlin. Now let's write a name. We will do Android study jams. So one more thing I want to say, don't add space in between. The spaces will be giving errors, and don't add some special characters, that will also be an error. You can add underscores. Okay, now let's select console application. When you select console application, you can find a new line is added. It is Kotlin/JVM. So this JVM, you can find it's the Java virtual machine. If you are from a Java background, you can understand that this is Java virtual machine, right? So why is Java virtual machine up here, right? If you have a good knowledge in Java, you can understand that .java class is converted to .class file on compilation, which in turn is run on JVM, right? That is a Java virtual machine. And you will know about Kotlin. I will tell you about Kotlin in this case. And you continue the video and you get to know about why Kotlin is using JVM. Just wait for it. Okay, now let's select Intellij from here. Then select Android to 12. JDK version. There is an option for downloading JDK, but I don't prefer this option. You previously downloaded and use this one only. Now press next. You don't have to do anything up here. Then finish. It will take some time, maybe 10 to 20 seconds, but if it is the first time, it takes some time. Let it load, let it settle down. There is some loading and everything going on. Don't panic, it will take some time. The first time it takes some time. Okay, so once it opens up totally, you will find this layout. This layout, this is a similar layout that you will find in Android Studio. Okay, I want you guys to familiar with this environment. This is like the thing, and the surrounding is actually the same thing that you will see in Android Studio. So first of all, go to this part of the thing. You can see a project. Okay, so click on the project. There will be many options. In case some other option is selected, just select project. Okay, then you can see that the folder name is this one, Android study jam, that we have that we have created. Click on it. You can find the source src. Click on it. You can find main. Click on it. Then you will find Kotlin. Click on it. Then you can find a main.kt file. Okay, now let's open this file. Double click on it and you can find a main.kt file. So there's an hello world program already written for you. Oh, I forgot to tell you, in this platform only you wrote the hello world program. Okay, so I guess you have already written the first code in Kotlin. That's cool. Besides that, when you run the you create this file, the hello world program is already written for you. So yeah, that is. And how we're supposed to run it up here, there's you can see a play button up here. Just click on it. You can find run.mainkt. Click on it. It will take some time to build. You can see a build option has been generated up here. It will take some time. Let it settle down. Let's keep an eye on this part. Okay, let's keep an eye on this part. you will see a new folder that will be added when it is completed. Okay, see, it's completed, and you find a new folder that is created, that is output. It is a system generated file. I don't want you guys to like do anything to this file because it may affect your code. So don't like, you can click on it. You can see that main KIIT.class file. If you are from, like I previously told you regarding this class file, right, the java.java file is converted to .class file, which in turn is run on JVM, right? So you can see that .kt file, the Kotlin file, is also converted to .class file, right? So in the like you can say that end of the day, the Kotlin is already running on JVM, right? So this is why you can say that you saw JVM there, right? Because Kotlin is it's compiled and it's converted to .class, which in turn runs on JVM. Okay. Oh yeah, you got the output, hello world. So that is officially the first code that you have written. It's a hello world program, and you can see that is the first step to any programming language. Okay, now let me show you a trick. Not a trick basically, but it's also like place where you can run your code. Go to tools up here beside run, go to tools, then select Kotlin, then go to Kotlin Ripple. So you can see that a new prompt will open up below, and wait for some time. You can find this thing coming up. So what is this? This is a REPL. REPL is something you can try, like if you want to try a single line code. For instance, if you want to check out a new library, not a new library, but a new feature that you want to implement in this code, but you don't want to like affect this code base, so you try it out somewhere, right? So you can use REPL for trying out your code, right? Maybe if you want to try something, a single code thing, you can try it. Like for instance, if you want to print, don't think about the syntax. I will make you understand the syntax in a while. Hello DSC. Let's do a DSC. Okay, so when you run it, how will you run it? So just press Ctrl Enter. It will run. It will take a bit amount of time, and after that you can see that hello world is printed. So this is basically when you use it, this part of the REPL, when you want to try out something, like you don't want to change the things up here and you want to try it something here, so you just use this REPL. Okay, from now on we'll be using this REPL for the basic understanding. Okay, so let's start it. Okay, we can do some basic mathematical operation like 1.1, 1 and 1, it's 2, it's known. And you can see one thing, that Kotlin understood it's an integer, right? If you know about integer, it's like anything from minus infinity to positive infinity. Besides that, if you do something like 1, let's say 2 into 2.0, then it's 4, right? And Kotlin like understands it's a double. Like double is basically what you can say, if a number has a decimal part, it can be considered as a double. There is a similar thing called float. Okay, and float is smaller in size. It can hold smaller numbers, and double can hold larger numbers. Okay, so this is, you can understand that Kotlin understands it's double and it's an integer. Okay, now let's try something like var a is equals to 10 and a. Let's Control Enter. So what you can find that Kotlin has understood that this is an integer and a is assigned with the value 10, right? It's similar to something you can say in Python. Python is something where you don't need to like define what is the type of the variable, but you can find something var. What is var? Is it something it's a type or something? So var is basically used to define it is a assignment. Okay, you can say there's one more thing called val, and I will get back to it in a while. Okay, now this is a var. Okay, now we can do one more thing. Var b is equals to 10.0. Enter b, Control Enter. You can find that Kotlin understands it's a double and it has already given it 10.0. Okay, so now let's try something new which is only available in Kotlin. I guess so. So what you can try, you can do 1 star 2, which will give you 2, like 20. Okay, 10 into 2, but you can try it in a different way. 1 dot times, this is a function which is already available. like you can see that I haven't used like I haven't declared any functions, right? So you can see this gives the output of 20. So if you are from any other language background, you know that we can't have a function attached to a variable most of the times, okay? But this is something which is cool about Kotlin. You have this function which is attached to a variable, right? So it gives times. There are many functions like this, time. Then we have div for divisions, okay? Division, you can do one thing, you can divide 10 with 2, okay? What will be the output? The output will be 5, right? But if you divide a dot div with 3, the expected output is 3.3 something, right? But what we get is 3, but so we lost that 0.333 part. So how can we get it? So we can do one thing, div 3.0, control enter. In that case, the Kotlin understand that the output should be a double, okay, and it should be 3.3.3.3.5. Now let's check the value of a. Okay, control enter. The a is still 3 because this output isn't reflected on a. This is basically an output, we can assign it to anything, but isn't reflected on a. So a is still 10 and we can work on it further. So now let's see what we can do. We can try something like var b. Okay, now let's told you I shown you something that is Kotlinish, that is we don't have to define the type of the number or the variable, but there is you should always define that, and you can do it in this way. Obviously this is sorry, I messed up this man. Oh, okay, so here is it. So int is equals to 10, right? So this is the way you declare the type, okay? Like if you want a, like then you want var a, you want it double, okay? So this is the way you do it, okay? 10.0, okay? So this is the way you, if you like, if you don't want to declare the type of the variable, if you don't know, you can do it in this way. And if you know, the best way should be this, because it is always preferred that you like always tell the type of the variable, okay? So you have done with this. There is one more thing that is called var, what you can say is, let's call it box, okay? Box is let's do it a number. So Devanshu, what is number, you will ask me. So number is basically what you can say, like it is derived from like integer, double is derived from number, okay? The number is the parent class, you can say, in the term, like it all are coming from numbers, okay? So what you can do, if you want the number, okay, if you want box dot to int, this will convert box into an integer, okay? Now let's run it. You can find that box has been converted to an integer. Otherwise, if you can do just simply box, what we will get? We will get a number, okay? So it's a wrapper class. If you are familiar with that, it's a wrapper class. It's basically wrapping up the box, that is number, and convert it into int, okay? So it is a wrapper class, number is a wrapper class, okay? So now I told you regarding val. I told you I will get back to it later. So you can do var a is equals to 10. Similarly, val let's say b equal to 10. Now let's print a, okay? Then print b, okay? Now let's do one like, okay, we are adding this, if you, in case you want to add it, okay? But okay, anyways, let's add it. It's a good practice to add it, okay? So we have added. So let's run it, okay? Let's running it. You are getting 10, okay? 10 for both of them. So what is the difference between var and a val? Okay, what we can, the difference you can see is a, I can assign it, once again, But in case of B, if I try to do the same, it will give me an error because val cannot be reassigned. So you can consider val as a constant, like you have const in many languages. You can consider val as a constant, and you can't change it once it is assigned. Okay. And one more thing, even you can't change a to different types. Like if a is like run by compiler and is considered to be an integer, you can't assign a character or a string to it. Like if I want to assign a string to it, like ABC, okay, anyways, it will give me an error, okay, because the type mismatched. Once it is run with an integer, it expects an integer. We can't change the type then. Okay, the value can be changed, but the type can't be changed. Okay, now you got the idea about this. There is something called type conversion. Okay, type conversion, what you can say, like let's do it val. Okay, let's using val. B, let's do it byte. Byte is a smaller version of integer, you can say. Okay, that's a small, like 8 bits make a byte. Okay. Now let's do it val I. Let's do it, oops, where it went, anyways, byte, let's do it 1 and val a int. Okay, so this is the two thing. Now if I want to convert B to an A, okay, like B is a smaller thing and I want to convert it to a bigger thing. Int is bigger than int byte. Okay, if I run this code, you will get an error because byte isn't expected. Okay, so what I can do in this case, I have to convert it explicitly. So what I can do, to int. Now if you run this code, you will see it will run perfectly fine. So we have to like cast it to int. Basically type is like the byte is converted to int. So the next thing that I want to show you is really cool, that is c is equals to okay, underscores. What are these? Like for just a second, see, if you run it, you will find Kotlin understood that is an underscore. So underscore, it is recognized by Kotlin. You can use to make it form like what you can say hash code or something like that. You can use the underscore, and sometimes it is understandable by Kotlin and it converts it to integer. Okay, now let's do something which is really Kotlinish, you can say. So there is something called null nullability. Okay, null pointer exceptions. If you are from a Java background, you can understand, and if you have made an app, you can understand what is a null pointer exception. Okay, so Kotlin just eradicates it. Okay, there is no way you can like basically have a null pointer exception like normally. Okay, if you like, there is processes you can have null, but it isn't recommended to do it. Like it isn't recommended. So let's try something. Let's do var d, let's keep it integer, that is equal to 10. I guess this is normal and it runs perfectly fine. It runs perfectly fine. But if I do the same thing and make it null, it will give me an error. Wow, it gives me an error because it's a non-null type. It's obvious because d is an integer type and it doesn't take null, which is a problem which is resolved by Kotlin, because if you do the same in Java, it is run perfectly fine. But it's an error, right? Like it's basically happens in Android when like you call a activity or a fragment which is already not there. So it's like they can't find the location. So it basically it's becoming a null pointer exception. Okay, so we will go through that in the next like in the upcoming videos. But for now, this is like Kotlin basically tackled that part. You can't make a null, but if you want to have a null, what you can do, you can explicitly, like you have to say it to Kotlin, bro, I want a null. So in this case, if you run it, you will get a null. You can assign null to d, but with this operator to add it to it. Okay, now what you can do, Now let's try something. Let's you guys remember this, right? Every function has this part, this thing assigned to it. Where is it? Yeah, every function has an extension functions. I previously told you regarding this. So if I do something like this, if I make a variable e, okay, let's make a variable e and remove this null. Okay, let's make it, give it a 10. We run it. Okay, this works fine. If I do e dot times 2, it runs perfectly fine. Now let's do something. Okay, t dot times, let's do it 2. What should the output? It's a null, right? So we have assigned null to it, so we are getting, it's not null safe, so it is an error. It's like they're giving us a warning that check it, it seems like there can be a null, so this function may not run. If you want to run it, you have to do some special things, this assertion operator, like non-asserted thing. I'll show you this in a minute. So the Kotlin is stopping you from making a null pointer exception. Basically, like if you want to call this thing, you have to explicitly say this thing. You have to say this. Okay, then only you get the null pointer exception. Okay, in case if I have added 10 also, like for example, if I have added like let's add 10 this time. Okay, let's add 10 this time. Control enter. Let's do this thing this time. It will run perfectly fine. Okay, but if you still try to run this one, it will give me an error. Okay, it's basically a warning error. Okay, that this is maybe a null thing, right? There may be a null, so be careful. If you want to use it, use this operator. Okay, this is called a bang. You can say it's a bang operator. Okay, it's basically called a bang. I don't know why, but it's called a bang. Like it's basically when you want to use it, you can use it. Okay, you have to use bang. Okay, bang to use it. But as you know, as it was previously null, okay, this was null, so it got the null pointer exception. But now, as it was here in this case, as I assigned 10 to it, so it doesn't show me a null pointer exception, rather it gives the output of 20. Okay, I guess you got a brief idea about regarding this thing. Okay, we can do one more thing. Okay, this is something really awesome. We can do equal to 10. This is pretty basic. Now I want to check whether it is null or not. Okay, if you are using using any other language, then you have to like make so many if and else and conditions to check if d is null or not. You can do it in a single line in Kotlin. So what you can do, dot dec, like I want to decrement d when I have I want to decrement d with -1. This is a function, you remember, I guess, this extension functions. So yeah, d can be decremented. First question mark, it checks whether d is null or not. In case of null, it returns a 10. If not null, it will decrement d. So let's run it. Control enter. Oh, sorry, I added return. Why did I add return to it? Control enter. So you find the output to be 9, right? So first of all, now let's do the same example. And let's do it null. Okay, control enter. In this case, you got the output 10. So it's really awesome that you can just like check all this thing in one line. Okay, this is basically called an Elvis operator. Like if you know Elvis, he's a singer, And okay, so it's called an as this operator because the hairstyle looks like in the question mark. Okay, that is an explanation. I don't know why, but that's just a fact. So this is all about operators. This is a small section I want to explain regarding strings. So this is similar. So if I do A and I store A, B, C to it, okay, now let's see the type of A. Okay, now let's run it. What you will see that A is of type string, right? Okay, wow, it's 2 times. Anyways, so is of type string. Now what we can do is, for example, we can do one thing. There is something called formatting. Okay, now let's do A is equals to 10. Okay, and where B is equals to 10. Okay, now if you want to print them in a pattern way, so like if you want to like print it the good way, like the sum. Okay, so what you will do something like A plus B. Okay, A plus B, and if you want to add something more, like while A is plus A. Okay, so this is what you want to print. I guess that was a bit tough, like the concatenation part. Oh, that really, if some help can provide it to it. Okay, so you find that it is okay, they didn't sum up. Wow. These are some errors, man. These are some problems. Okay, they actually summed up now. They didn't sum up previously. So there is an easier way to do this. So Kotlin has the formatting thing. So how you do it? Remove this, this. Just add under a single colon. Then what you have to do? Then add a $sign. Add an expression. If you want an expression like A plus B, you add it. Okay, add a space. Okay, if you want to show this one, then add $ again, then add A, and I guess it should run perfectly as this previous one. Yep, it works perfectly the same like the previous one, but it is like really easy, like rather than having bracket plus and then ending them and then this, there's just one ending, one starting and one ending. This is the best part. So this is all you need to know about I guess the string formatting. Okay, so now in this section we will talk about arrays and loops. Okay, now let's start with a simple example again. Var A is equals to 12 and var B is equals to 13. Now let's add it to a list. Let's add it var C, that is equals to list of A comma B. If you run it, let's do one more thing. Let's do C up here and let's run it. So what you will find that 12 and 13 are added to this list. And what is this list? List is a collection, and this list comprises of Kotlin int. Okay, these are ints and that are made into a collection, which is in turn a list. Okay, so what we can do, one more thing we can do, let's try this out. The previous code, let's take the previous code and add these things like A, then B, then okay, I made an extra thing here, and let's add another array. Now just in case if I run this, what should be the output? The output is you get a list which adds all the elements like them. Okay, now this is what you understood from this. There is something called a mutable list. Mutable, that means changeable, right? It is quite understandable from the language. Now let's make it val. Okay, then let's make it val and let's do it. A is equals to mutable list of, now let's make it string, ABC def, let's make it ijk. Okay, so it's a mutable list, like you can understand from the right? So if I run this, like let's add a to it also. Now if I run this, you can see there's a mutable list. There's a difference between list and a mutable list. Okay, mutable means changeable. You can't change this value like once added, but you can change this one. Okay, now as there's a val, what you can't do is, if I write this one once again, if I'm trying to reassign it, okay, I'm trying to reassign it with something like okay, let's do it. Let's take this thing out also. Let's reassign this, like reassigning with x, y, z, and assigning with a, b, c. What should be the case in this case? You will find that it is giving an error. Okay, val cannot be reassigned because I have added val here. It can't be reassigned now. So if I do, now what will I do? Like we can do one thing. Okay, we can do dot remove. What element do you want to remove? I want to remove ABC. I want to remove an NBC, and now let's get an output of A also. What you will find that ABC is removed. Oh, sorry, the ABC is a set of string, so you have to add a string like this thing. Okay, now let's run it. You will find it has been removed. Voila. Now let's see what other functions does A have. You have replace all, you have add all. Let's add it. Okay, let's add something x, y, z. Control enter. Okay, it's true, sorry, like we have to print A in that case. Control enter. You will find that x, y, z is added to the end. Okay, so we can't reassign it, as you can see up here. We can't reassign it as it is a val. Okay, but we can remove it, we can change it, we can do anything. It's mutable list, we can just do anything. In a similar note, if you see at this list, that is C. Okay, now suppose I want to do something on C, like C dot. Okay, there is a limitations. You can see up here, right? You can obviously see the difference. When I was using dot function on A dot, you can see so many things, like you can change it, you can replace it, all the things are available up here. But when you do the same with the C, it's a normal list, and that's a like the C is a normal list and A is a mutable list. So you can clearly see the difference up here. So it doesn't provide me all the facilities like replacing, adding, and the things, right? So that is a difference between a mutable list and a normal list. Okay, so now I will show you something regarding you can say arrays. Okay, so let's try var a is equals to array of. Okay, now let's enter something like ABC, then DEF, then IJK. Okay, so as you guys previously remember, for the list section, if I just do this, it should print me the list also. But okay, there is some gibberish that we find up here, not the list. So how can you print the list? In that case, you have to do a trick. Okay, write import. Okay, let's import java dot util dot star. Dipanshu, while importing a Java class, I already told you, bro, that Java is already compatible with Kotlin and Kotlin is compatible with Java. So what you can do, print a dot what you want to print it. So you want the array class, array, which is in Java, dot to string. What you want to convert into string? The A part. Okay, now let's control enter. Now you will find the correct answer. Okay, if you have just entered print A, okay, you have got the same gibberish. Okay, so it's not a, like, you can't say it's a wrong thing. It's basically the address, I think. Okay, I guess it's an address of the array. Okay, now there is one more thing you can do, like let's do var b is equals to int array of. Okay, so this is an integer array, like you're predefining it as an integer array. And okay, let's do this one, control enter. Oops, small b. Okay, so it is also the same. You can do the same to this also, like how to print it. You can do print, you can do arrays, arrays dot to string what you want to print b, right? Control enter. Yeah, you'll get the answer, right? So this is the way you work with strings. Now one more thing, like if you want to make an array of an array, okay, like if you want to do it in this way, like for instance, like do it like let's do it array, how to print it. So I want to show you guys this dot to string. Now let's do one thing, make an array of. So what we can do, array of let's try to add 2, okay, with abc. Okay, let's try this, and let's make something of it. We can convert it into int. Okay, int array. Okay, int array of this. In this case we are expecting an error, right? It's already an error because we are trying to add an integer, a type of integer, to a string, right? A string is being added to an integer array. This is not possible. But if we do the same, but we remove this part, okay, just adding array of, in that case it will run perfectly fine. This is a mixed array, you can say, like a mixed thing you can store also, in case you don't mention it. If you mention it, it will like expecting an int and it's getting a string, so it will throw an error obviously. So you can do that, and you can also make an array of an array. Like for instance, if you have a val a is equals to, that is a list or list of an array, anything, like let's make it a list. Let's make it a list of a, then abc, then xyz, and let's make another array of val b that is equals to, let's make it an array of, what we can do, we make an a and then 1, 2, 3. And now what I want to do, I want to print this, so I want to do the same thing, arrays. So you see, you can see already how compatible is Java with Kotlin. Like I am using a Java code in Kotlin, like kind of, you can say a Java library function, right? So if I just control enter it, you can find this way. Yeah, you have added a list to an array, right? This is so cool. Now let's show you a simple trick. Okay, this is a trick you can do, like val and let's take it an array arr is equals to array. Let me type it out, then you will, like, I will make you understand this part of also. Height star 2. Now let's print it same way, like the arrays dot to string arr. So if I run it, you will find this. So how is it working? So we are making an array of size 5 and 8 it. This it8 is referred to each element. Okay, each element is like the each index, basically, sorry, the each index is multiplied by 2, and which is initialized. Like So like the first index is 0, so 0 into 2 is 0, 1 into 2 is 2. That way it's the elements in the array are initialized with the value, like the index into 2. Okay, this is how you can say it in that way. Okay, so we can do one more thing. For instance, for we are moving to for loops. Like if you have a good idea about loops, then for I in, like for instance, if you want to find something in a list or not, for I in ARR, okay, for I in ARR, print I. Okay, let's do it. So you want to find I in ARR, right? This will basically, what you will do, it will basically print every elements in an array, right? So you can see that I is referring to each element. Like if you have ever used for each loop, or you can say an enhanced for loop in Java or any other language, you can understand this part. This is for, like, I is referring to each element in the array. ARR is the array and it is referring to each element. Each element is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So every time the loop start, it takes 0 first, prints it. It takes 2 second, prints it. 4, prints it. 6, prints it. 8, prints it. Okay, so that is like, you can say it's kind of a for each loop for Java, and this is the normal loop of Kotlin. Okay, so this is the way you do the looping in Kotlin. Okay, this is the normal you can say like you traverse a loop. This is the for loop, and the do while and the while loop is similar to Java's. Okay, that is normal. Like if you want to make a loop, then for instance, if I want to make a loop, then var I is equals to 1, and then while I is less than 10, then what you will do, print I, and then you will do I++, right? I++. Now let's run it. You will find this part. So this is, and a do while loop is like already similar to it. It's all like it's the same to this with Java, and with this basic thing is that this while is at the end and do is at the first. Okay, let's show it also to you. Let's do this. So what you can do, you can take this condition, add it at the end, and add a do here. Okay, control enter. So it does the same thing. Okay, so this is the do while loop, this is the while loop, and this is the for loop. So the enhanced for loop in Java is basically a normal loop in Kotlin. Okay, so you can understand if you're not familiar with looping. So basic thing is this is the condition. First I is equals to 1. It checks the condition. If the condition is satisfied, the inside code is run, and after it is run, it is incremented. Basically here it is incremented. Okay, you can see that after this is run, it is incremented. Basically like I is equals to I plus 1. Okay, this plus plus is referred as, you can say that I plus plus is equivalent to, you can say is equivalent to I is equals to I plus 1. Okay, so these both are equivalent. Okay, so if I write I is equals to I plus 1, it will be the same. Okay, so there's one more thing we can do with this. For example, if you remember this array, right, ARR. Okay, so what we can do, for index. Okay, I can get both the index and the elements can get both the index and the element in for this array ARR dot with index. Okay, now let's do something like we want to print both the index and the element. Okay, so print ln, let's do it in the next line. Okay, print ln, what we will do, for instance, index. Okay, index, we will using the formatting. If you remember, index, we'll add a space before it and the element. Oh man, my spellings are really awful. Nice. So here is it. So elements. Okay, so finally let's run this. So what you will find that index 0, element 0, index 1, element 2, the array. You remember the array, right? The one, like at the 0th position, that is 0, at 1 position it is 2, at 2's position it is 4. That is the way you do it, right? So this is, you can say, like a better approach. If that depends on the question, like sometimes you have to maintain a separate counter for the number of elements, but it is a better approach. You can do it in this way. Okay, there is some other things, like you can do for I in 1 dot dot 5 print I. So it will basically print from 1 to I. Similarly, you can do the same but with characters. Okay, this is something really cool. Like you can do characters with it too, and let's do it up to maybe J. Okay, let's print it. Control enter. So we print the characters, and like if you want to do it in the upside manner, you can do also the same thing. You can do like I in 5 down to 1 print I. So enter. Yeah, that's the reverse loop. And if you can do the same with this, you can just like let's do it up to Z. Okay, let's do it up to Z, and from like 2 maybe to A only. Let's try it out. Control enter. Yeah, you can find from Z to A. So this, I guess, is really cool, and this is all I have to share regarding loops. Okay, so we have been using this Ripple for quite a long amount of time. Now let's shift to this part. Okay, so for now we'll be working on the conditional part. Okay, the if and the when. There are two types of conditional statements mostly that we use in Kotlin, that is if and when. So now what you can do, let's keep it a var a is equals to 10. Now what you can do, if a is greater than 5, then print, let's print greater than 5, else let's print less than 5. Less than 5. Okay, so now let's run this code. Okay, you guys all remember, right? So we have to do this, then run. It will take some time. And it is run. So you can see it's already showing it's greater than 5. Okay, so this is a normal if statement in any language like C and Java, but you can use this as a conditional statement also. Like what I can show you is, if you want to store this in a string, like for example, if you do var s, it is a string type. And okay, so what I can do, I want to store this in a string rather than printing up here. We can do this. So s is equals to and this part also. Let's end this by printing this part. Let's do print. What we can do, let's print s. Okay, so what do you guys think should be the output? This is the same thing, so the output should be the same, right? So let's do one thing. Yeah, it's the same. Okay, now what we can do, as you guys know, it can be used as an expression. So we can just cut this out from here, x, add it here, add an equal to, and just do this. So what should be the output? Like in case of Java and C, this is wrong, right? But in case of Kotlin, this is a statement, and the statement gives the same output. I guess once it runs, you can see it gives a 5, right? It gives the 5 output. So this is a statement and it runs perfectly fine. Okay, there are many things that you can do. You can also do something like you can just bring this down. Let's do one more thing. Let's make a function. Let's make a function max. Okay, it returns an integer which is maximum. Okay, what it takes two numbers. Okay, a int comma b int. Okay, this is a function. Okay, I had this wrongly here. Okay, so it is a function of max and it returns an integer. So what we can just bring this code from here, because it is the if statement. Let's do something really awesome. Let's add it up here. Okay, and let's do one thing. Let's return this. Return, we are getting two numbers, right? So if a is greater than b, just return a. Okay, else return b. Okay, now let's call this function. Okay, let's call this function from here. Let's store this in a variable. Let's delete this part. Let's store this in a variable like var. Let's give it s only. S is equals to, what is a function? That is max. Okay, let's put two values. For now, let's try 10 and 9. Okay, this is the two inputs, and the s is also outputted here. So what do you guys think should be the output? The output should be 10, right? The greater number. But it feels like just a one-line condition. Why are you using this much amount of space? So Kotlin gives us this unique thing. Like you can just, as you guys know, this is already a statement. So what you can do, you can just bring this up here, remove this part, remove this thing, remove this also, and it does the same thing. Like it's an expression, you already know that it returns an expression. Okay, so if we run this, let's change the value for now to check. Let's run it. So the output should be 11 and it is 11. Okay, so you can see it's a statement, so it directly returns the value through this function, right? So this is something you can also do in Java, but you have to do like something like you have to do Lambda functions and all the things, then only you can implement it. Okay, but it is already implemented in Kotlin. Okay, now let's do something a bit unique. What we can do, let's remove this part. Okay, let's do var b is equals to 50. Okay, now if I want to check if 50 is in a range, okay, if I want to check that 50 is in a range of, for somewhere like a range of 1 to 200, then we can do this. And what we can print, let's suppose true in that case, right? So if you run this, you already know the solution, right? It is this, in this range, if 50 is present, it will print true. and I guess it is quite simple and the output is true. Okay, so this is some basic things that you require for you can say conditional statement with if. Yeah, there is also this else if thing. Okay, else if. Okay, if you want to do else if, let's suppose if okay, I didn't use b, right? So let's use b here. Okay, and for instance, if you want to check if b in the range of 200 to 1000, what we can do, we can print in phase 2. Let's print up here in phase 1. So when you enter else if, you have to enter an else also. Okay, so the else condition, just do anything like print nowhere. Okay, so this is the else if condition. In case you want to know, it is the same for all the languages mostly. Okay, so it's in phase 1, you can see this one, and if I just change this to something like 400, then it will give me the range of 2 in the phase 2. Okay, so it is simple, and I guess you understood this part. Okay, now let's move on to the when clause. So when is, you can say, it's equivalent to switch statement. So in Java we used to do, Java and C used to do switch, then we used to do b, then we'll be doing the conditions, right? So this is directly same. What we will do in this part, we will add when. You can see that it's totally same, but it gives many extra features. For instance, if you want to check if b is 400, right? So if you want to check if it is 400, then let's do one thing. Let's print number b is 400. Okay, what we can do, if 500, this is the arrow symbol. Basically it is the code that is to be executed when this condition is satisfied. Okay, let's print b is 500. Okay, so when you run this code, she will get b is 400. There is much difference from switch case. As you can see, there is no break statement in between them, and there is also this thing that you haven't added the default part. Okay, in case you want to add the default thing, what you can do, you can add else, then the arrow symbol, and you can do print not present. Okay, so let's change it to 600 now. Let's print to 600 and let's run it. So this default part should be executed, and you can see not present, right? So this is the way you do it mostly. You can also play around with this. You can add that range thing in, if you want to check a range for somewhere like you want to check in the range of 1 to let's suppose 400, and let's change it to 300 in that case. Okay, so this should be executed and you should get the answer. It is present. Okay, I haven't changed this part, so you will get this answer only, but it's checking whether it is in that range or not. Okay, if you add a not up here, you can see b is in range. So you can see not, I have added not. So if it is not in this range, then only it will print, otherwise it will not print it, right? So as no condition will satisfied, so this else part will be executed and you will get not present. Okay, and you can if as you already previously saw, if condition is a statement, when is also a statement. So what you can do, you can add a var. Okay, var, and let's suppose that its name is its name is s. Oh, okay, let's suppose its name is s and it's a string. Okay, now we want to assign this to s. Okay, so we can do s is equals to this thing, and we can just remove this part. Okay, now let's remove this not also, it's not required, you understood that part. Okay, we are removing this, then this. Okay, so this s, and let's print it. Print s. Now let's run it. You can see b is in the range. Okay, so I haven't changed this text, so yeah, it is in the range of 1 to 400. Okay, so this is fine, and you can see it is working as an expression. Now you can do one more thing I want to show you. Like if for a function, let's create one more function, and let's suppose it have many conditions. Okay, it has many conditions. For example, let's give it the name of condition check. Okay, yes, it's correct. Yeah, so now let's give it 3 variables, like a, which is an int, b, which is also an int, and c, which is also an int. Okay, now let's make it return type. Okay, so this should be capital. Yeah, many typos that I do these. Okay, so let's do it int, and okay, so it should return an int. Now let's bring this part from here and put it up here. So what you can do here, you can check the conditions. Okay, now what we can do one thing. We can just let's try this out. We can do, for example, if you want to check the condition, if a is greater than 10, okay, then you want to print here a is greater than 10. Okay, now you want to change this condition also. You want to check if b is greater than c, then you want to print this line also. You want to print b is greater than c. Okay, you want to print this line also, and you want to have the else conditions, but we have to return it. So this is a string, right? Oh, okay, let's make it string. Then let's make it string, and let's return this. Okay, so it is being returned. Now let's do one thing. Let's store it in s. Okay, now let's make it condition check. What we can do, we can make a let's check it 11. Okay, and let's take, for example, b is 5 and c is 10. Okay, now let's print s, and if we just run this code, what we will get this: a is greater than 10. Now what we can do, we can just change this part of the statement, and let's do it is 10, and let's increment this to 10, and let's decrement it now to 6. Okay, now when you run this code, this line should be executed, that b is greater than c, and yeah, we got that part. Okay, so this is the condition statement. Yeah, you can remove this part. Previously, as I told you, that it is not required. Okay, so you can just remove this part. Okay, remove this also, add an equal to, remove this last. Okay, so yeah, and it can understand it by itself that it is returning a string, so it is not required. So you can just like make that much amount of code remove from your code base easily, and you can see it can be manipulated according to your need. So once you use when, you can use it when in any condition. You don't even require if to have the condition check, so you can use this thing. Okay guys, so the next thing that I want to show you is interoperability. Okay, anything like how can you operate between Java and Kotlin. For instance, this is the Kotlin code, and let's make another file in this folder only. it's a Java folder. Let's call it my Java. Okay, let's select class. It is created. Okay, it is up here, you can see. Okay, the name is Kotlin, but it's a Java file. Okay, you can see .java.kt. okay, so if you are from a Java background, you already know what you have to do. You have to do public static void main string args. This is the same thing that you have done there also. So this is the basic structure of here. So suppose I have a function up here. Let's call that function fun add. Okay, it has two parameters, you can say. One is integer and b is also integer. Its return type is also an integer. Okay, now what it returns? It returns a plus b. Okay, that is really direct. So how can we call this from a Java program? So what you have to do, you have to, for example, I want an int, so int a is equals to this file. You can see that it is converted to dot class. You can see that what is the name up here? It is main kt dot class. Okay, so if you want to access this file, this Kotlin file from this Java file, what you have to do, you have to call main. You can see this is already available, so you click on it. Dot, see the add function is available out here. So you can see how it is working. It is basically showing us that, okay, you need to put the semicolon up here. Okay, so this, as I previously told you, both Java class .java and .kotlin are compiled to .class file. So when we have to access the Kotlin file through Java file, we are using the this class part. You can see this is the class. This is the class. You can see the class name up here also properly. So and now let's print it. Let's print it system dot. Okay, here is the shortcut, right? Yep, its shortcut is up here. Let's print the sum plus a. Okay, so let's print this. Okay, here we can run this. Run. It will be running up, and in no time soon you can see that we are using a Kotlin function in a Java class. See, the sum is 14. It is showing perfectly fine. So how is it working? So if you open this, see this class file is also added. This is also a dot class file, and this is also a dot class file. Both Java and both Kotlin makes a dot class file. So if you open this file, you can see that it is using public function. Okay, this is a dot class file, so you can't like properly understand the difference between them. But yeah, it is also being converted to dot class, and this Java file is also converted to dot class file. So that is why you can like communicate between them. For instance, if you like, this is the default name they give, the file name, and the first letter is capitalized, and a kt is added at the end. Okay, and then dot class. So if you want to access any file from that, you can do this thing, this. Okay, if you don't like this name up here, like it is a like sometimes quite tedious if you can't change the name. So what you can do, you can just come up here, you can type @file. Okay, just a second, this, then j, capitalize it, j, vm name. So this, you have to write what name do you want for this file when it's dot class file, right? So you can, let's give it the dsckiit. Okay, in that case you can see the error is popped up here, right? So you have to change this name to dsckiit, right? And now it's working perfectly fine. If you just run this code, you can find that it is giving us the same output, that is it is running up here and it's giving up the same output, that's 14. Okay, so it's running perfectly fine. And see, you can see that the dot class file name is changed to dsckiit dot class. Okay, so and okay, now let's try this out. We have added this function in Java class. Okay, this is sum. I have changed the name to summ. Okay, and it just takes two parameters a and b and returns sum. Okay, now how do you access this from a Kotlin class? So let's make a variable var c that is equals to, let's call a function. So first makes an you can say like we are making an object, you can say, kind of. Okay, so we use this, and then what we want to do, we want dot sum. It's already available. So what we do, we take two inputs, that is 4, 5. Okay, now let's print this out, print it, and now the sum, comma. So what is the sum now? I want it is the, okay, let's assign it to a var maybe. Okay, we can just directly bring this from here to here, I guess. Yeah, it should be working fine. Yeah, it is working perfectly fine. Now let's, what is this showing up? Modify. Yeah, so okay, so if we run this part, let's run this. Okay, let's run dsckiit dot class, and you can see that it is running fine. Okay, so we have already discussed regarding functions, like we haven't discussed it yet, but you have been using functions for a long while now. Okay, we don't require this file, let's delete it for now. Okay, okay, let's delete it. Yeah, anyway, we are removing this part of the code in that case. Okay, let's remove this. Okay, let's replace this part with this one. Okay, this, just a second. Okay, let's replace with this part. Add let's add two numbers, 2, 3, and let's print it, print c. Okay, so as you guys know, this will be giving us the normal output, that is 5, right? It is doing this part of the code. Let's run it. It's 5, right? Now does it seem a bit redundant? Like we can reduce this part, like we can reduce it quite a while. Like for example, we can remove this part because return type can be inferred by yeah. But one more thing, you can see that just a second, let's remove this part also, it's not required for now. Okay, let's remove this part also. And okay, so, okay, let me add this one first and then we'll remove it. Okay, now see, if we just remove this part, delete, and as an equal to, this will become a and return, like remove this return part also, you will get the whole function in a single line. Okay, now if you just run it, okay, it's not dsckiit anymore, right? So we have to first run it up here also through this. Okay, so you get this 5 again, but we are using this single line function. Now there is something called a default parameter. Default parameter is like you add a 3 up here. In that case, it is not compulsory for you to give this second argument. Okay, it is not compulsory for you to give the second argument. If you like in other languages, sometimes like if you don't add this argument up here, it will give you an error. But here you have added a default argument. In case you run this code now, you will see that it is giving the same output, that is 5, right? Now let's now add another number. Now let's add 4 to it. Okay, now if we run this code, you can see that the output is 6. So what you can understand from this, that this is taking this number, like it is taking 4 when the argument is present, and when it is not present, it is taking 3 as the argument, right? So you can understand from this part, it is quite clear. Now what we can do, one more thing, we can, for example, if we have another function default b. Okay, now let's give it a number directly. Okay, it is returning. Okay, as I told you previously, it is returning, right? We have like converted into a single line statement. Now we just remove this 3 and add default. Okay, where is in spelling? default. Yeah. So what is this? This is in turn returning to this, which is acting as a default parameter. In case if I remove this part, this will accept the default parameter, and when I run it, it will give you 22, right? So this is the thing. Basically, you can understand from this, like this is when you pass function as a default argument. Previously I showed you, if you just directly pass default, it is directly defaulted. Now for example, if you have this default argument from here, if I just remove it and add it up here, okay, now there isn't problem. Like now add doesn't know that first one is the default argument or the second one is the default argument. So in that case, what you have to do, you have to mention b is equals to 2. Okay, like it knows that if you don't give a, like if you don't give b equal to 2, in that case the code, like the Kotlin will interpret it as a is equals to 2, and you haven't given the value for b, because b doesn't have a default argument. You have to add the value of d, but from your perspective you have added 2, that should be the default, like the argument for b, but it doesn't work in that way. You have to add b equal to 2 in that case, and this is not a like good practice. The good practice is to have the default parameter to the last, you can say the last parameter. Okay, you should add the default value to the last parameter. That is the good practice. Okay, now you see, if I add like 3 to it, it works fine. Okay, so this is all about functions that are mostly required. It doesn't require any more things. Okay, so let's do something. Okay, let me introduce you one of the like cool features, you can say. We will be using REPL for this. Okay, let's open it up. It's running. Okay, cool. Okay, now for instance, suppose you have an list. Okay, like d is equals to list of, what should it be? It should be strings. Okay, now for example, ABC, ADE, XYZ. Okay, this XYZ. Okay, LKs Y. Anyways, so now there is one you can say a function. Called filter. Let's print d dot filter. Okay, these are special kind of functions which I'll talk about it a bit later, but for now, if I just do true here, if I run it now, control enter, you see that it will give the whole list as an output. Now let's do the same thing, but now let's give us a condition. Okay, now let's give a condition, id 0 equal to a. So what does it mean? It refers to each element. Okay, it will be iterating over the list and it will refer to each element. It will get each element and check the zeroth position whether it is a or not, and based on that condition the list will be printed. Now let's print it, control enter, and you will find that both the elements that have a as their first element, it will give you the output. Okay, now let's do one more thing. Let's take a variable. Okay, let's not retype it once again. Okay, so there is this d has the, what you can say, the list. Okay, now there is a difference. There is two type of filtering. Okay, if you have used filtering in other languages, there is two type of lazy filtering and it's eager filtering. Okay, you can say. So what you can do, for example, what is eager filtering? For example, if I take var eager, eger, okay, anyways, whatever. So now let's take this and do dot filter. Now let's do the same condition, that is it 0 equal to a, and now let's print it. Print eger, control enter. You will find the same thing. So it is returning the whole list to eager, like it is a new list. It's not modifying the d, it is like making a new list and it's adding to eager. Now there is one more thing that you can see, that is called a lazy filter kind of a thing, lazy. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to add one more thing up here as sequence. So if you run this now, control enter, you will find it is not returning the list anymore, it is returning a sequence. So what is the sequence? You can say that the sequence consists of the list, okay, and the condition that the filter is applied. Okay, so this is a sequence, and the sequence consists of the list and the condition that is applied. Okay, now how can you get the output from this? Okay, so what you have to do, you have to do dot toString. Okay, not toString, to list, I guess, to list. Yeah, let's convert it to list. Now control enter and you will get the output. Okay, so this is you can say eager one. Okay, and this is, you can say, a lazy one. Okay, that is the difference between a eager approach and lazy approach. It is not that much of an importance, but yeah, that I felt like it should be told. So yeah. Okay, now let me explain you a special type of function that is called Lambda Function. Okay, Lambda Function is similar to anonymous classes, anonymous function, you can say, in different languages. Not classes, I meant, that is wrong. Functions. Okay, so how can you make an anonymous function? For example, if I do this, print, let's do hello, and this is, if I run this, control enter, you'll see that the hello is printed. So this is, the function doesn't have any name. Anonymous, if you like familiar with the English term, anonymous means the name is not defined, it is unknown. So there is no name to the function, but it is a function that is called. So the thing you can try with this, if you can do var s is equals to, let's make an anonymous function that is print. What you can do, for example, that is let's print ABC and anything, let's say ABC, and now let's call the function. How we call this, you just run it like a function. See, s brackets. Now let's run it, we'll get the output. For just doing it once again, you can just control enter and you'll be getting that function as an output. So this is what you can call an anonymous function. So anonymous function is a function, but it doesn't have a name defined to it. Okay, this is a variable, right? But this is a function that is assigned to the variable, you can say, kind of. Okay, now let's try one more thing. Let's try var t equal to 2. So this anonymous function can also take arguments. Okay, so what you can do, let's take var f that is equals to, let's do t colon, I will explain it to you just in a minute. Arrow, what you can do, it is d by 2. Okay, now let's print f, control enter. Oops, I didn't enter the value. Let me enter d, control enter, and you get the output as 1. So how is it working? So see, d is normal variable. Okay, now if you see this f is an anonymous function that is defined, that is taking d as an argument, and it is of integer type, and anything after this is the function body. You can say this is the argument, after the arrow it is the body. Okay, you can have multiple bodies with the curly braces, but this is the body. And how you call it, you just call the function and the type, that like the argument. Okay, this is how you call the function. So there is okay, so you understood about this, right? Now let's get back to this one and let's modify this code a bit. What we can do, let's remove this parts also. Okay, now let's have a var a that is equals to 10, and let's have a function fr. So from this lambda functions you can say that there is one more type of thing that is quite related to it, that is called function types. So what is function type? You can say that I will write it and then explain it to you, just in a that is pretty easy to then explain to you. Okay, now let's do int, okay, that is equal to this, and t colon int, and which will in turn do t by 2. So this is the same function that I did previously, okay, that I did previously. And what is supposed to happen, it is that if I pass a, like it, I haven't passed it yet, but let's print it. Let's print it, print f of a. Okay, now let's run it. Okay, so you guys know the output, right? It is showing us 5, right? So what is happening? This is defining that the argument is of int type and the return type is int. The d is the argument and of int type, and d by 2 is happening. Oh, you can just remove this part, this integer, because it's not required. It's the Kotlin can infer it for by yourself, like itself, and you can still see that the output is 5, right? So it is working perfectly fine. So this is you can call what you can say, it's a type basis. It is called basically a type function type. Okay, there is this thing called higher order functions. So what is higher order function? Higher order function is basically when you have a function as an argument. Okay, the argument is also a function, then it is called a higher order function. Let's take a small function. Let's have a fun. Sorry. Okay, now let's name the function is fun1. Okay, fun1 is a function name, and what does it do? It takes integer as input, and it gives the output of a plus 10. Okay, that is a normal function that we have already previously defined and used. Now let's make a higher order function. Now let's do fun, and let's call it ho for higher order. Okay, so what we can do d, it takes an integer. Okay, the first argument is an integer. The second argument, let's call it operation, ops, okay, for operation, and it is a function. It takes int as an argument, returns an int, okay, and the return type of this total function is an int, and which in turn have a function body. And let's do something like let's return the same thing only. Okay, let's return the ops of d. Okay, now let me explain it to you once again what is happening. So this is another function that we have created, and what this function do? This function has two arguments. First is an integer type, and the second type is a function. It's a function. It's a function type. Okay, you can see, and this function has an what you can say, the arguments of int, and the output is int, and this function has a overhold, like you can is outputting an integer, and this integer okay, and the function, this function is anonymous, like it is a higher order function. You can understand from this, you can add any function to this and it will be doing the same thing. So what will this ops do? Ops will take this d and just return it. Okay, this is not doing anything. I am not doing anything. It's just returning the function. Now let's run this code. You can run it in many ways. Okay, now I will show to you some ways you can do it. let's print it. Okay, why did I remove that print? Anyways, let's do ho. Okay, ho. You can run it as a normal function, like you can just add a that is a variable, that is a, comma, and the function that you want, that is f. Okay, it is you can remember it is a lambda function, right? And the second type you can do is print ho okay, and let's do comma, and the second one is a normal function, right? So you have to use this double colon so that it gives you, it allows you to use the normal function also, and you have to give the arguments up here. The arguments are a, okay, I forgot to give the argument up here. Okay, does it require argument? I don't remember actually. Let's run it and see. I don't think it's requiring the arguments. Yeah, it's not requiring the arguments. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so we are using the higher order function, right? We are we are adding the higher order function because this function is being used here, and the what you can say, the argument is taken from here, that is a d, and which is in turn is run up here. Now let's do one more thing. Let's print ho and do one thing like a comma. Let's make this function up and down. Like what you can do, we can take a as an input and give a by 2 as output. So what I did up here, rather than making this function like predefined, we are making this function here only. So what this function is doing, it is taking the thing is, it is doing the same thing. Let's run it and let me explain it to you. So you can see there are, okay, let me add some println to it. It is quite messed up down there. Okay, let me add println. Let's run it. You can see 3 outputs. The first is 5. Okay, how it is working, it is taking this a as 10. A is taken as 10. The lambda function, which is dividing a by 2, that is giving us the output of 5. And how is this function? It is a function and it's not taking any arguments, right? Which in turn is run on this higher order function. Okay, and it is taking a as the, what you can say, input and divided by 2. The same thing is done with this one, but as it is a normal function, you can named function, you can say it is not an it's not a lambda function or an anonymous function. It is having a name, so it's a named argument. So you have to use this to like use the higher order function in this case, and this is the normal thing we can do, and we are using this custom function that we have assigned. Okay, you can also do one thing. You don't even need to add this like the function basis up here. Okay, you don't need to add this function basis up here. What you can do, you can just remove them. Okay, you don't even need this comma also. You just do this and it will be running the same way. Okay, so these are all just like not required, but it's good to know about this thing. Like when you see someone's code and who is using a bit advanced kind of thing like this things, it will be helping you guys to understand this concepts. Okay, so now let's talk about like what is object oriented. It's all about classes and objects. Let's do this thing. So first of all, let's make a new package. Okay, you can just right click on this, then that. Oh, okay, one second, just right click on this, that, and you will get something called a package. Okay, now let's make a package name called box. Okay, box, box. Okay, so you have a new package called box. Now in this package, let's make a new class, Kotlin class. Now let's call it box. Okay, now let's call it box, box. Okay, we have to, like, it's a convention that the first letter is capitalized. Okay, for classes, click on class and click on enter. You will get a class. Now okay, you can forget about the last main. Okay, in this box class, you can have like if you have some idea about object-oriented programming, you know that, like, but for example, who don't have any idea, let's think of a box. What does box have? Box have you can say width. Okay, let's give it a default width, that width, let us be int, and let give it a default value of 10. Okay, besides that, it have height. Okay, that is int, and that's equal to also 9. Okay, now let's give another value, it's val length. Okay, now let's give it int, and its value should be somewhere like, okay, let's give it 12. Okay, so these are all the things that are required for a box, that is height, width and length, right? Now let's make a main class up here. Okay, now let's make it a main class from here. Now let's make it main, main, main. Okay, so main class, let's make it a file, not a class, is not required. Okay, so what we have to do in main, we can do function main. I guess you have already remembered the things, right? It should be string, sorry, not string up here, it should be args, args, then it should be array of string, right? So this is the main function. What? No, it's not an array. I forgot the syntax. Main. Let me check it out. Okay, what can I do? Forgot the syntax. Oh, I forgot a colon. Yeah, this old habits, man, old habits. I can't change sometimes. It's Java habits. Okay, so here is it. So this is the main function. We can have now, for example, var the box. This box is basically holding the box, this class that we have built. Okay, box. Okay, so this box is basically holding all the properties that is being held in this. Okay, let's close it out. In this box. Okay, so if I do now, let's print it. Print length. Okay, length, and okay, now let's print the length. What we can do like box dot l. Okay, these are properties, like it can be directly accessed, if you can see, and as because we have given them default values, it can be directly accessed, and it is not like okay, let's do it with and let's we can get it somewhere like box dot w, then similar thing up here also with a length, height, HEIGHT, and we will get box dot height, right, h. Okay, so if we just run this code, you will see that let's run it. You can see that we are getting the values. Okay, oh sorry, this function is run. So when you have to run this one, you have to and run. Okay, you have to run this main, we are running that main. Okay, so when you just run this, you found that this is taking the default parameters that are already here. But if you are from like a Java background, you will have this intention like, why didn't we implement the getter function and the setter functions? Okay, so like Kotlin does this, like it implements the getter and the setters for you. You don't have to implicitly make a getter and a setter function for yourself. Okay, it is already implemented, and it is quite understandable that Kotlin does it in the background. Okay, now like a class like it's have a certain inbuilt function, right? Okay, let's make it a volume. Okay, volume, volume. Okay, let it return integer, and what does it do? Okay, and function, it takes in. Okay, okay, now what does this do? It basically does nothing. It just returns the thing, return length into width into height. Okay, into height. So and let's divide it by 1000 in case. Okay, let's convert into some units. Okay, okay, let's keep it this only. I guess that should be fine. Okay, so this is the thing. So if you want to use this function, you can just go and write volume, and let's give it a, what is this? And yeah, and let's give it box dot. You can see volume is already here, and you can just run it. Okay, when you run it, you will get the volume here. here you will getting this volume is directly getting it. But let's do one thing, like already you know that these things are not at all required. Like you can just remove this part, you can just add equal to, you can just remove this return, and all this thing just cram up to one line. Okay, so it is still a function only, right? But from a user's perspective, they doesn't know how the thing is working on. Okay, so you can, why are you making the function? We can do one thing that is a really cool thing about Kotlin. You can say you can just make a val. Okay, let's make it a val and do one thing. We can do volume. Okay, volume is let's return it an integer. Okay, it's of integer type, and now go to next line, add a tab, get. Okay, we are having getters, right? We are basically overriding the getters up here, and what we will do, we will just return L into W into H. Okay, so what does happen just now? Okay, let's keep this one also. Okay, let's keep this one also, and let's go up here. You see that when you remove this part and add a dot, you have two things, a volume property and a volume function. So this function is basically the function that you created, this one, but this one is a property, right? So what you can do, the user doesn't care how you get the volume, so you can just make it a property and just remove this part of the function. It's not required, so you can just remove it. So this is what you can say, you can like basically overriding the getter function. Okay, and like you can also do some things, like for example you can do box dot L equal to 10, but it will show you an error because you have done it a var. Okay, you have done it val. So let's change it to var. And you can see that the error must be gone. Okay, now now let's change it to 100. In that case, let's change it to 100, and when you just do the same thing, like print what we can say length, you will find out that box.l has changed. Let's run it. Okay, I guess it's running perfectly fine now. When you run it, you can see that box.length has changed to 100, which was previously 12. Okay, so this is something you can do. You can have a setter function. Okay, but Kotlin basically implements it for you in the backend. You don't have to write a setter function for yourself. So you can do the same with this one also. Okay, this function, we just the volume one also, but for that you have to make a setter because the Kotlin doesn't know how to integrate that. So let's see, you see the red thing, right? It's showing an error. Let's make a setter. Okay, now what we can do, we can take the volume. Let's change it to volume. It will be taking the volume in that case, volume. And if you know that when you change the volume, either height, width, or length have to change. So let's change the height. Height is equals to, and now let's do height, like volume divided by length into width. So this will basically upgrade my height, right? Box, yeah, oh sorry, I have to make it var. Okay, understand, right? It's a val, so you can't change it. Okay, so you got it. Now when you can just change up here also, box dot what you want to change, volume is equals to 9000. Okay, you can just print it and you're getting the same answer. Okay, now let's print it also. Let's print it and let's do it a print ln. In that case, I want it in the next line and make it a volume, and also getting a volume up here also, volume. Now let's run it. It's not control enter up here, it's in the REPL. Run it. You'll see that it runs and gives you the output of the new thing that we have created, that is 9,000. Okay, it is multiplying the 10 from there. Okay, so you've got this part, right? So this is how you basically work with most of the functions, classes. But if you are from another language, you have a proper knowledge in that, in case you can't see a constructor, right? So what we are doing, we were basically using a default constructor. Now if you want to add a constructor to this, what you can do, just add brackets here. Now what you can just do, you can just take this thing, let's make it var also, it's not worth to make it a Now let's take this total part and just bring it up here. Okay, we have to add commas between them, obviously, and it is basically, what did I do just now? I just made them as a constructor. You can see, okay, the default constructor is still running. Okay, the default constructor is still running, and I basically added a parameterized constructor with default values 10, 9 and 12. Okay, now if I want to use this one, what I can do, I can make var box 2. Okay, box 2. Now make it from box, and let's do something like I added 90, 100 and a 75 as a value, and you can see that it is using the parameterized constructor that we just created up here. We just created this parameterized constructor. If you don't give the value, it will basically using the default constructor values. Okay, if you run this code, you will be getting this values from where? You will getting the default constructor values 10, 9 and 12, and as you just use this constructor, you will be getting these values, right? So if you just run it in the similar way, you can just, okay, let's run this one also, Control V, and I see that the println is not working, so let's do \n in that case in the end. Okay, from here only it will be better. Let's add it up here and \n, and you can see that it is working perfectly fine. Let's run it, and oh, okay, this should be box 2, right? Box 2, box 2, box 2 and box 2. Let's run it once again, and you will find that this is this is changed. Okay, so we are basically here using the parameterized constructor. Okay, this is the parameterized constructor with default arguments. So these are some basic things that you require. There are many things like the second constructor is there, the init is there, so I don't think that is that much required. You will be learning that on your way to, if you require it, you can learn it. It's not the first thing that you require, so I'm just skipping that part for now. When it's required, if it's required, I will just mention that when you come to that part. Okay, so I have cleaned up this main function. Now let's do one thing. I will talk about some special classes which are already present. That is called a data class. Okay, let me give an example. First make a class. Let's call it deck, and it can take a var a of string type, and what you can do, you don't do anything. Now let's make something like data class and give it the same name, deck. Okay, deck 2 maybe, and it does the same thing. Okay, var a of string type, and it basically does the same thing. Okay, now let's do one thing. Let's get back to up here and do var a is equals to deck. Now let's pass a string that is maybe dsckiit. Okay, now let's print it. print, let's print a. Okay, in that case, what you think should be printed? Okay, let's run it. You can see that it is printing this one. Okay, this is basically a location where this class is present. Okay, now let's change it to 2 in that case, and now let's see what if we run it, what you will get. Let's wait a second. We are getting a data here. it is basically converting this address to a toString, and we are getting the string basically. Okay, so this is kind of a thing when you require that when you want to have a class which basically stores the data. Okay, in that case you use a data class. Data class has many functions which are already in like you can say inbuilt in itself. Okay, there are some things called let me give an example, and now let's call it B, and it does the same thing. And okay, let's give it a name C in this case, and let's give it something like DSC. Okay, now a dot, there are many functions that you can try, like toString, to Java, also apply. There are many things you can try, but I want to try a simple thing, like for example I want to check the equality with A with B. And let's do one more thing, print A dot check it equals with C. Okay, now if you run this code, that is this one, let's run it. I guess it's fine, and let's run it, and you will see basically it is getting true and false. It is basically checking it, but you won't find any function that we have created, right? So it's basically using the string functions, okay, which are already implemented. So this is a basic idea about data class. I don't think much is required, and like it will be, you will understand about it more when you are basically using it in a application. Okay, and it is not something you use it daily, but when you are having a good knowledge, you basically want to implement it yourself. Like you can do the same thing with classes, but you can implement the functions. But data class is something that you want to use when you have a good knowledge, and like you want to reduce the like your work and the complexity of the project. Okay, so let me talk about inheritance a bit. Okay, so let's make another variable appear, and let's make it maybe something called, you can say inside volume. Okay, I don't like inside. Okay, maybe inside. So keep it up to like a volume of maybe 90% of the volume in that case. Okay, you got this inside, right? We're not using it anywhere. But now if you want to inherit from this box class, it is quite similar to any other language. So if you want, then what you can do, you can make a class small box. Okay, this is a class, this is a simple class. And now if you want to inherit from another class, you have to just add a colon and the class you want to inherit from, this one, right? So you got this, but it is showing some error. It is showing this error where you can say it is showing, what is showing? So now it's open, it's not open. So for inheritance in Kotlin, you have to open this class, open. Why is it? It's like, it's sometimes you like, it may be mistakes, you open some way like classes, which is like you inherit some classes which is not required, and like it's not inheritable. Like, so Kotlin made it inheritable from beginning only. Now if you want to override something, you have override keyword up here. Override, let's override inside. Okay, let's override inside. Okay, let's first make it a var inside is equals to maybe volume into 80% of volume. Okay, in that case, so what you can see, the override is in red because it cannot be overridden. Okay, so what you have to do in that case, you have to make this also an open. This are, you can say, a safety precautions, so that you don't like mess up with like variables which are variables or things which from another class which is not required. For example, if you can do the same with this one also, override. Let's just copy this part. Okay, let's copy this one only. Now let's override it, override, and let's add it. Okay, so you can see the volume. Let's change it, the volume. I'm changing it, the volume in this way. Okay, it's wrong, but yeah, let's increase it by 10 times in that case. Okay, so I want to override this, but it is showing me the same error that is not open, so you have to open it. Okay, so you got the idea of basic inheritance. This is the basic inheritance. There is something called interface and apps, you can say abstract classes. So what is interface and abstract classes? Basically there are sometimes you cannot define a class. For example, if you have a class, for example, what you can say, you have something like a class in which you have to implement some functions, but you don't know yet, but you can't just stop your work for that particular function. So what you do, you added an abstract so that by the time the function is abstract, you don't have to do anything. It just stays an abstract. Like it doesn't affect the code, neither does it affect the thing. And when you want to implement it, you can just inherit it and abstract, and you can just like implement that part. And the function that and the class that inherits it basically have all the features and this extra function that it has inherited and implemented. So abstract class and inheritance are quite similar. Interfaces and inheritance are like on the same line. Interfaces and abstract classes are not that much required, so I'm just skipping it for now. I'll be adding resources in the description for if you want to get a better idea for that, but I feel like it's not not required for pretty basic one, so I don't think it's required now. When it will be required, I'll be giving you more knowledge about that. Okay, I guess that is most that we can cover, but there are small things that you may encounter during your this adventure of Kotlin. So let me show you something like you can do that is called pair. Okay, this pair is something you can link between two what can say strings or values, basically values. Okay, let's do it dbs, and what you can do, if you want to print the first value, in that case a dot first. Okay, if you run it, control enter, you can see that it is showing you, okay, it is showing you the first character. And similarly, if you want to print the second one, you can just do a dot second. Okay, if you just run it, control enter, you can see the second one. So this is it can be used in nested order also, and you can do it similar things. Like let me explain you a bit some more examples, like a b. In that case, I can do something like abc, then let add it to a 2, then let add it to bds, anything like let's add it to 2, then add something like def, and let's print this in somehow like how we can let's print it. Let's print b. Okay, let's print b, control enter. You can see that it is like storing in this way, like it is like keeping it 1 and then it's adding to 2 to next one. Okay, it's kind of a list way. Okay, you can also print it form of a list. You can also define this you can also define this part also, like you can add brackets to it like this way. You can add brackets. Okay, okay, what is this happening? You can add brackets here also. Okay, and okay, if you run this way, you can see that the orientation has changed. Like it is a default orientation and you have changed it a bit. You can also do like you can do in okay, that is you can do one more thing, like convert to list dot to list or to string. You can do anything, like let's do it in a list and you can convert into a list. Okay, there's like you can store this data in that way, and you can also extract the data in a similar way. Now let's do it. For example, var c is equals to, what you can do, you can just c comma f that we can extract from this a. If you remember, if we can do that, then let's keep it an a. Now what we can do, we can just control enter, and why is that so much space up here? I don't know, but yeah. Okay, so and what you can do now, let's print c, and we are printing c, and what you can do now, let's run it, control enter. Okay, why is it showing me this? Okay, oh sorry, I haven't added the bracket. In that case, I guess control enter. Yeah, so I'm getting this abc, the abc is getting stored in this, and the remaining part, if I just run you the next part, that is this one, what you can say, that is f, control enter, it is showing the second part. Okay, so you are just deconstructing it. Okay, and you can do it according to yourself. It is basically used when you have to return more than one value from a function. Okay, there is some conditions, like when you're coding you feel like, okay, there must be a way to return two values and simultaneously. So yeah, you can do this with this one. Okay, so it is sometimes quite helpful in that case. So I will say that is the most that I feel that may be required for someone who is starting off with Android development, and that is mostly that I think we should be covering, okay, according to the guidelines also. And I will be providing the links to more resources, and like a Udacity course is free, and like I covered most of the things that are there also. You can take the last 2 sessions up there. It is a free course and you can do anything with that. You can try that out, it's pretty fine. Besides that, we will be providing resources in the description that will lead to a GitHub repo, and we have planned some examples in case you want to follow, like you want to try out. Then the next thing that I want to say, that go to that Kotlin Playground. There is a I told like I told you in the beginning of the session, there is the section where you can try out your knowledge in Kotlin. So right, you should go there and try it out, or you can find a direct link from the pathway. Okay, the track 2 pathway. Before starting, there is something called you can try it out, the section, the Kotlin part. So go there and try the Kotlin that you've learned from here. I want you guys to read about this, study about this. The next video will be up to like after 2 days, and then that will be on Android Studio, and we'll be starting the first Android development, the basic Android apps. And so I want you guys to familiar with this environment. This is the most, and the Android Studio environment is like almost similar to this. So I want you guys to familiarize with this environment, and in case of any doubts, you can always get back to us on the Discord server. I and the team is always available for your doubt clarification. Besides that, we'll also be having doubt clearing sessions. If possible, you can just comment down below the time that you require. And if you haven't joined the Discord server, the link is in the description. There's a particular channel, the ASG group. So that channel is particularly dedicated for Android study jam. In case you want to ask me personally, you can find my Discord link there only. Okay, you can just in case you have some issues, you can just directly communicate via Discord. So you can also contact me on LinkedIn. The link will be in the description. Thank you. In case of doubts, please do contact me. I have no issue in helping you guys out. I'm really happy to help you guys out. Thank you.